Hey, folks, welcome to episode 71 of the Mile 20 podcast, where epic shit happens. I'm Laura, and I'm here with my bestie.
Lori.
And today we are interviewing the legendary Mr. Bart Yasso. How excited are you, Lori?
I am excited. I mean, he
We're
is known as
fangirling.
the mayor of running. So, I mean, he is a legend in running.
Legend. Legend. I've been anybody today that I talk to, like, I'm just like, oh, we're interviewing Bart Yasso tonight. Just
I
so
was,
cool.
yeah, phenomenal. Like, so excited.
Yeah, and I know that you and I have both been listening to his books. He has a couple of books out. The one that I'm finishing up right now is My Life on the Run, and then he also has a beautiful picture book called 100 Runs of a Lifetime. And actually, he's got two books. You can get them on Audible, and then the picture book, the 100 Runs, that one I got on Amazon. So it's pretty easy. I know you had bought that book first, and then when you were talking about just how magnificent the book was, I was like, oh my God, I have to buy that too.
Yeah, I almost feel like that book makes me want to be a checklist. I'm like, is this
Like
my new
seriously,
checklist? I don't
seriously,
know.
Lori, I was going through this and I was like, oh my God, Lori has this book before me. And we've run a lot of the races that he had on there. I was actually like really surprised too. Like Philly's in there. Philly's in there. I was like Philly and Chicago and and Big Sur and a couple of these phenomenal races that we have done. But then I thought to myself, I was like, oh, Lori's gonna want to run all these races.
Maybe, maybe.
That's okay. You know what? Twist my arm. You won't have to twist it very hard because they were
They
very,
have
very
ultras
well.
in that book, though,
Oh, no,
so
no,
we
no,
have to be
no, no,
careful.
no, no. I draw the line at the ultra thing. Like he has different like chapters. Like they got the marathon chapter. I'm good
Yes.
with that. All right.
And
Well,
the
what have you?
10K and the half.
Yes, yes,
He's got other distances in there as well.
yes.
Yes.
All right. Now, what have you been up to? What's your Epic Week update?
Well, I am, if anybody's joining us on YouTube, I am up in the Adirondacks. So it has
Again?
been freaking spectacular up here the last few days. I mean, like today, I think it was like 83, zero humidity. The bugs are minimal. The water temperature's getting high on the
Nice.
lake. So it's been nice. And Ella and I are up here. We spent, I've been ping ponging back and forth between home and here because we'll get into Friday night here in a second because we have a shared Friday night in our Epic Week update. But I was up here I got up here on Wednesday, stayed here Thursday, went home Friday, and
Crazy.
I'm a 6.5 hour drive. And then came back on Saturday because Ella is riding in the Lake Placid Horse Show and went to the Lake Placid Horse Show with her on Sunday for her last two rounds, which she rode beautifully. And her and Felix are just so cute, and they're
Felix
really
is
like,
her horse.
yes, Felix is her horse, and they're just bonding so well. So it's fun. It was fun doing that. And and there's a secret. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about this, but Ryan Reynolds' kids,
Heard you.
what his daughter rides horses, and she is in a class with our trainer's daughter. So they're like, oh yeah, we have like a Ryan Reynolds like spotting group chat. So I'm like, I have to know when Ryan Reynolds is at the ring. So it's cool that his kid is here and
I love it.
all that. They say he's a really nice guy.
I love
But
it.
yes, but the big highlight,
You
other than
could
Ella
go ahead what
and
we did on
her
Friday
riding
night. Yeah.
beautifully, is Friday night.
Yes.
So excited. We got to see Noah Khan play at Citizens Bank Park, and
With
I
no
guess
rain. No
no
rain.
rain. It was beautiful. We had a beautiful day, tailgated early, and it was a great show. I have no
We
complaints.
didn't even see the opening acts. We just tailgated right through that shit.
Yeah, I mean, well, Gigi Perez was singing when we got in there, and I got to hear her one hit song because she was closing out as soon as we got in. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, no, it was. I just love Noah Khan. Have for years. Day one.
I haven't asked you this because you have seen him numerous times in concert from when he did little teeny tiny venues to now. what did you think of the set that he had, like the front porch and the car setting and so forth? Like what was your impression of him being bigger on stage versus like what maybe you had been accustomed to in the past?
Well, I miss him being in little venues,
Yeah.
but obviously as he's getting bigger, he's growing as an artist. So it's a way more elaborate stage than the six season stage was. And, it was kind of cool because Dial Drunk, he actually was like running from a cop and then they threw him into the back of what looked like a cop car.
And then
And
he was singing in the car.
he was singing in the car. So, I mean, I really liked that whole bit. I thought it was really kind of funny the way that went down. He's always pretty funny when he's like chatting with the crowd. I don't know. Did you see any of the stuff on Instagram about some of the
I
one
I
thing
I did. I did. Jim actually told me about it yesterday where
that
somebody
somebody
like
shit on the floor?
yeah, like I don't even
Yeah, so so apparently one of the fans pooped on the floor, didn't want to leave, had to go to the bathroom, didn't want to leave, and was actually relieved itself on the floor. So then when he opened up at the Nationals, like when he went and used, there's a bit where he uses a payphone, and when he uses the payphone, he answered it like IBS Society, something to that effect. So he's like making a play of what's going on while he's on tour. So I like the fact that he's keeping it fresh and he's always kind of funny. So,
yeah, yeah. No,
but
he's
yeah, I
fun.
mean, it was way more elaborate. We were like his second show on the tour. So like they felt very fresh and everything
Yeah,
felt like it was new
yeah.
ish in a way. So way more transitions than what I was used to in other shows. But I mean, he puts on a good show and he sounds fantastic.
He did. That was my first time seeing because Jim and I seeing him in concert, and we loved it. We absolutely loved it, and he played so many different songs from all of his different albums. And I don't know, I definitely am a newer fan than you, but I love it that you introduced me earlier on. Even before he became like super popular, because Lori would always add like Noah Khan music onto our playlist. I'm like, oh, dude, like really? And now I'm just like, sure, you can have the whole album. Yeah, sure. So I've come a long way.
Now, as an older fan, I will tell you, I always have beef because there's like two songs that I would love. I feel like he should play because they're like some
We
of his more
always have that
popular
from our
old songs.
artists. The bands that I love, like I wish that they would play certain songs. And I think maybe like one song that I love of Imagine Dragons, they've played like once, like
Yeah.
ever, in concerts that I've been to of theirs. So I get it. I get it. You just,
I just
you know,
feel like Young Blood was like one of his first breakout songs and like he should play
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
and or Passenger because we run to Passenger all the
Oh my God,
time.
we totally run to Passenger
I
all the
would have
time.
freaked out
Woo,
if he played
woo,
Passenger, but he
woo.
plays like pretty much like Main, which he always plays when, it's like his one old
It's
song
like
that he feels
staples.
good
Yeah,
about
yeah,
playing, but
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah.
I like it. I love him. He can't do any wrong for me.
No,
So,
he did.
how about
That was an awesome concert. So the other stuff I did, on Thursday, Jim and I went back down to the sports, arenas in Philly, and we went to the Ivory Coast Curacao World Cup game, and we actually met up with your daughter Maggie,
yay?
and her fiance Connor. So that was really cool to go and hang out with them before the game for a wee bit. And so that was a cool game to watch. It was really hot. It was really warm out. But Ivory Coast won that game. And then Saturday we ended up driving up to Middletown, New Jersey, where my cousin and his wife live, and their daughter Olivia just went and graduated from college. So we drove. It was like a 2-hour drive. So it was cool because like Jim and I drove up there. My sister's family, my parents went up. So it had been a while since like all the cousins had been together. So it was a really good time. So
That's cool.
yeah, and then we got to drive my nephew Will home with us. So it was me, Jim, and Will, and we like the three of us just talked. We didn't even listen to music. We just talked, the entire time, like played some, games in the car and stuff with each other. So I thoroughly enjoyed, it's like life with a 10-year-old. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
All right, now we got a little bit of running news.
We do.
Yeah,
It was cool to see that. So we were checking you that Philadelphia Marathon has sold out. I think this is a record. I don't know if it's ever sold out this early before.
I don't know, but I think it's indicative of all the stuff we've been talking about of how competitive it is to get into these races now and how many more people are interested in marathon running. So in my mind, Lori, I'm
We got to
going
start registering.
this week we need to start registering for our races because we don't want to go and get a one and not be able to go and get into some of these that we have teed up over the next couple of months. So
I agree with you on
yes,
that.
yes, that was the takeaway from that one. And
Well,
then
I had also read like on top of Philly, like
yeah.
also like the Loch Ness Marathon, which I guess is like a smaller destination race that also usually doesn't sell out very fast. It's sold out. Like it's
Wow.
done also. So it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't,
Yes.
if you're thinking of running, don't hesitate, sign up.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't. Yeah. Because you'll get in too late.
Yep.
And then the other cool thing is that they ran the Western States Endurance Run out in California, and the course record was shattered. So by
Incredible.
a gentleman named Vincent, and I hope I'm saying a Bouillard, and he won the men's race in 13:46:15, and he shattered the course record by more than 23 minutes.
That's
Like that's
insane.
insane. And then Jen Lichter won the women's race in 15 hours and 28 minutes and also set a new course record. So, like, and we've been talking about this is like just runners keep getting more and more efficient and
Faster.
faster. It is really, really, really unbelievable. Really unbelievable. Oh, and then you have one more thing, right?
Yeah, one more thing, and it was kind of sad. It's not really running necessarily related, it's more triathlon, but
Yeah.
they canceled Ironman Nice this year because of the crazy heat wave going on in Europe and is now starting to sweep across, I guess, the east coast of the United States. But it's important for all of our runners out there to keep in mind, you know, keep your salts up when you're running, salt
Yeah.
tabs. There are various
Hydrate, hydrate.
companies that offer sodium tablets for running when you're running in the heat. Listen to your body. Now is not the time to push for PRs when it's this hot out. Just get done what you can. Drink lots of water. Rest. That's my 2 cents for the day.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into the interview with Mr. Bart Yasso.
Woohoo.
Hey, folks. So today we are joined by a true running icon, Mr. Bart Yasso. From inspiring runners around the world to becoming a longtime face of runner's world, Bart has turned endurance, adventure, and positivity into a way of life. Whether you know him from the legendary Yasso 800s or being known as the mayor of running, his incredible races on every continent, or his infectious enthusiasm for running community, you're in for a treat. We'll talk about unforgettable adventures, lessons learned over decades on the run, and why the joy of running is still the greatest finish line of all. So lace up and let's hit mile 20 with Mr. Bart Yasso. So Bart, welcome to our
Welcome.
podcast.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and thanks for that nice intro.
Oh my gosh, you have truly inspired us. Lori and I are in our mid 50s, so we've been running for 20 plus years. So we remember when you were on like the cover of Runner's World magazine, or reading
Hell
your
yeah.
articles like before the internet. Like we existed before the internet, so we remember.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
cool. Yeah, I did 31 years at Runner's World. It was a joyous ride. It was just so much fun to travel the world and represent the brand and run all over the world. I
Oh my
felt
goodness.
very lucky to have that opportunity.
Oh, well, now that you've said that, our first question for you is like, being that you've run in races in every corner of the world, which run changed you the most? Not because of the finish time, but because of the people you met or the lesson you learned.
Yeah, that's an easy one to say, and I've run well over 1,000 races. But the Comrades Marathon in South Africa, by far, is the race that changed my life, changed other people's lives that I encountered when I was at the race. And it's a race like no other. That's the only way I could put it. So race goes back. It's the largest ultra marathon in the world and the oldest ultra marathon in the world. It goes back to 1921.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it went back
Yeah.
that far.
And they just call it a marathon, even though it's 56 miles.
Yeah.
That I really love, that they just call it a marathon because everyone says to them, you can't say that because you're fit. They say, the race we had it the first year was called the Comrades Marathon. It's going to be the Comrades Marathon, no matter
I
what you
love it.
say. But the reason that it's changed me personally and the people I met and talked to, I get messages all the time from people that say, I've heard about Comrades from you, and I still can't believe I did it. And they said, everything you said about it is absolutely true. It is the greatest foot race on the planet.
Really?
I think somebody's going to reach out to me and say, it's not the greatest foot race on the planet. It's never happened. And
Oh, wow.
I did it in 2010. So during apartheid, the black citizens of South Africa, which the country is dominant black citizens, they were not encouraged, maybe not even allowed to do the race, or
Mm.
certainly not encouraged. And a lot of the black citizens of South Africa lived in poverty. And so, but change came along when apartheid was abolished in the early 90s. And then the black citizens started running comrades and had the opportunity to run comrades, and they would start winning comrades. And then they became the most famous people in South Africa. Next to Mandela, he's kind of like, was the
It's
most,
kind of a big deal.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
a big deal. But outside of Mandela, I would say if you win comrades, you are known as a national hero. So it
Wow.
was really cool to experience that. And when I talked to a lot of the black South African runners when I was there, they told me, and now these were black citizens that trained and did comrades during apartheid.
Wow.
And they said the only time they felt free in their life was when they ran comrades. They said it was like apartheid was put to the side and everything was about running the comrades marathon. And apartheid
That's beautiful.
didn't exist during the race. And I'm sure parts of South Africa and many citizens of South Africa never really followed apartheid, but a lot of people, there's a high percentage that did.
Mm.
So for them to feel free, it's just mind-boggling to me. And I looked at this group that I was speaking to, and I told them, I said, if the sport of running, is powerful enough to suppress apartheid, I'm going to do the sport the rest of my life. I promised that group.
That's
So
awesome.
I stuck to it. I'm still out there. I have some knee problems right now, and I got some other issues with Lyme disease, but I do what I can because I told that whole group that I was talking to, I promised them I'd be a runner for life.
Oh, I love
One of,
that.
one of my favorite runners that most people don't know, there's a runner that won the New York City Marathon, South African guy by the name of Willie Matolo, black South African. And he won that during apartheid. And I thought, wow, this guy is a hero to me because he wasn't encouraged, he wasn't supported, and
Mm.
he could win the New York City Marathon.
Yeah.
And after I finished Comrades, I came in that finish line, and I was pretty far in the back. I was not in good shape, but I knew I had to do it before I couldn't do it anymore. And I got to that finish, and I was just so happy to finish. And all of a sudden, this hand was on my shoulder, and I turned around, and it was Willie Matolo, and he said like, "Hey Bart," and he gives me a big hug. Congrats on your race. And I was like, wow, that guy. I mean, first off, I didn't know how he knew me, and then second off, like if I could have picked a runner to meet me at the finish line of that race, it would have been William Matolo. But the odds of that
Wow.
happening are like astronomical. But it actually did happen.
I
But
love
he was
that.
the one. Yeah, it was really cool. So I could go on and on about that race. So many stories that it changed. The people I was with, they said they never felt anything like that. They felt like they were almost like an out of body experience when they were
Wow.
surrounded by the black South Africans crying at the start because they had the opportunity to run.
Hmm.
It still gets me.
That's phenomenal. So you think that it still carries that same mystique to it, even though apartheid is now gone? Like what do you think still creates like that special feel like comrades that everybody that finishes it feels?
Yeah, I think it still exists because, apartheid still exists in some, even though it's not law anymore, but it still goes on, you know,
Yeah,
and it's still, a prominently black citizens live in South Africa, but there's still problems with apartheid. I
Mm,
just think the South African athletes, especially the black South African athletes that run Comrades, they tell their story. They say they are they cry because they can go to the starting line. I never
yeah.
went to a race crying till I went to Comrades, but I just thought I never met anyone else crying before we even got to the start, before the race
mm,
even starts,
mm.
and so it still resonates with people, and they really, and I think it's because of Black South African citizens. They tell everyone, "We are the lucky ones today. We get to run this race." And sometimes we take those starting lines for granted.
I was just thinking, yeah, I was
Absolutely.
just thinking that I was like, on some of those days where, I'm putting on my sneakers, I'm like, man, I really don't feel like getting out there today. Just your story here alone, it's like just keeping that in the forefront. It's like, but I can run.
Yeah,
No
We have
one's
the
gonna know.
opportunity to
Yeah.
run and
Yes.
we have all the supportive family and people and a
right.
culture around us that supports us running. It's unlike anything else. It's so cool when you get into a cultural situation where it's like your blinders, you were uneducated in what it was
Mm.
really like on the ground, but then all of a sudden you're put in this cultural moment that is so poignant, and I think that that's amazing.
Yeah.
I probably have been sobbing
I
too
know.
for
I
a
know.
long
Yeah.
time.
Yes. But I remember being at the start thinking I was literally hyperventilating and crying, and I thought, they don't start this race, I'm never going to make it. I gotta get myself together here. But they do. They play this song called Shoshalosa, and it's a song that the black citizens used to sing when they were coming home from working 3 months in the diamond mines without a day off for 3 months. They were going to come home and they get to see their family. So it's kind of like a freedom song. And they
Oh,
they play this song at the start, and everyone in that race is singing it along with the being played through the sound system, and everyone's singing it. And I'm telling you, every black South African around me, which there were a lot, and they were all crying. Tears run down their face. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna have to look that song up. I've never
Yeah,
heard
oh,
that song.
Shoshalosa is a
Yeah, I
classic
just,
song.
yeah. We
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
that
it's easy to find.
yeah. No, and Lori and I, we always have music playing when we're running. We have a
Yeah,
joint
yeah,
playlist. So, Lori, I'm thinking that that would be a really, really good one to go and add to
it's a
the
great song.
playlist for our next
yeah.
race.
Let's do it. Absolutely. So, our podcast, as you know, is called the Mile 20 Podcast
Yeah,
because, that's kind of where things get tough during a marathon.
yeah.
What has been your biggest Mile 20 moment in life, not necessarily during a race?
Oh, wow, that's kind of a cool question because it could be just in life. I would say, just I don't know why does everyone do their long runs 20 miles? I have no idea why that happens, but that's been going. I mean, I've been running for 49 years and doing long distance running. The long run is always 20 miles. I don't know why that happened, but it's just so common. But I would say for me, the first time I ran 20 miles, I thought, when I started running, I thought a mile or 2 miles was a long run. And then you get up to 4 and 5 miles and 6 miles. And then I committed to a marathon, and everyone said, you got to do a 20 miler. So I remember doing that 20 miler, and I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to get back home. Like I, I was on my way back thinking, there's no way I could ever run 26.2. I'm not going to make it 20 miles. But that's when that mind over matter kicks in, and I made it 20 miles, and I didn't know if it was exactly 20 miles because we didn't have the measuring devices that we have today. We didn't have GPS and all that kind of stuff. But I do remember where I was and how I felt doing that first 20 miler, and it was brutal. But I think that like opened up the gate, it let me in to say, okay, you can do this.
Yeah.
And my tagline to people is always never limit where running can take you. And I
Oh, I
mean
love that.
physically, spiritually, emotionally, geographically. And I wish someone would have said that to me when I did that 20 miler, because if they would have said, "Oh, you're going to work at Runner's World Magazine for 31 years. You're going to run on all seven continents. You're going to go to like 60 countries to do races." I would have told them, "I hope I can run, across the street tomorrow." I mean, that's literally how I felt. But who knows what can happen when you push that door open,
Oh, absolutely.
cross that magical for a lot of runners, that 20 is really the stepping stone to that marathon distance. It certainly was for me.
I remember the first time I ran a 20 miler, and I started my running career with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, so
Yeah,
team and training.
right.
And I was driving home and I was exhausted and exhilarated at the same time. And I remember I called my husband. I called, my sister. I called my mom. I was calling everybody to let them know that like I ran 20 miles that day. It was
That's
just,
awesome.
it was something that, it definitely is that milestone when you hit the 20,
Yeah,
as far as a mile, because you know that, hey, like I'm getting there. But Lori and I, we don't just do 20s. We do 22s.
22.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Now I do 20. Well, when I was doing marathons, I would do 22, 23. I would go
Yeah.
20. But in the beginning, I would say the first 2 years or 3 years that I was doing marathons, again, this is 49 years ago, 48 years ago. 20 was the distance.
Yeah.
So get up to 20, run 20, and you'll be ready to go. And I was looking at these people that I considered them, my mentors. So I did 20, what they told me to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Bart, I mean, you are a world-class traveler, right? You have traveled all over. And for
And
our listeners who don't know, Bart has a book out that's called 100 Runs of a Lifetime. And it's actually
yeah,
a picture book with like descriptions of absolutely incredible races. So some half marathons, some marathons, trail races, so forth. But when you look at, because Lori and I were marveling at the fact that there were a lot of locations in your book that we have been to. So we're like, yes,
that's cool.
like a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, yeah.
Now, my question to you is, what destination that's in the book that made the book almost didn't make it? And why, what was the circumstances for it maybe not making the
Yeah.
book, but it did?
Well, first off, when National Geographic reached out to me to be the author, I was just taken back that they picked me to be the author of the book. It was 100 Runs of a Lifetime was their idea,
I love that.
their concept. I was the author. And then one of the first questions I had for them when we were working out the contract was, who's responsible for photos? And they said, we being National Geographic are responsible for all photos. So there is only one photo of me in the book. Uh, but yeah, to work with National Geo was really a cool thing. And it
Oh, I
was
bet.
their first venture into running a running book. So it was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
And it is a lot of pictures, but it is also 50,000 words. I can tell you exactly because I did it right in the chair I'm sitting in right now. It's literally 2 years of your life
Wow.
write a book like that. But anyway, that wasn't the question you asked.
Yeah,
Oh,
what location like made the book but almost didn't make the book?
yeah, it was really hard to get it to 100 because I laid out all the races that I thought were worthy of being in the book and what people would like to run, and some are famous, some are fast, a little bit and geographically all over the place. And so I thought, what am I going to do? I got a list of 200 races. So then I got it down to 150, then I got it down to 125, then I got it down to like 105. And that's when I reached out to the editor at National Geo and said, "You got to help me on this because I don't want to write stuff that you're not going to like or want. So I worked with the editor to get it down to exactly 100. And I kind of snuck one in the intro when I ran out of the Ngorongoro crater in Tanzania, which is my favorite run of my life.
Ah.
But
Oh, you did. I read that one and I that sounded really amazing.
yeah, they don't let you out of the Jeep in the Ngorongoro crater. It's all, you know, the tour guides take you down there and you can see all the wildlife, but you cannot leave the vehicle because there's lions everywhere and all the wildlife except the giraffe are afraid of the crater is a real steep wall and they're afraid
Oh.
they can't negotiate the steep hill. So you get all the animals that are in Africa. It's like a mini Africa. It's like a snow globe of Africa, but it's 30 kilometers around and
It's
1,500 feet
wild.
deep, the largest cauldron in the world. And I just convinced my driver with a little bit of money, actually a lot of bit of money, to be honest, a lot of bit of money. And I told him I would stay really close to the vehicle. And so he let me run from the crater floor up the crater wall and out of the crater. And the run I will never forget.
Oh my goodness.
I
Were
fall.
you not terrified of like invoking
Uh,
predator prey and any animals
well,
out there?
like I came in contact with a hyena, which was not good, but the hyena was afraid of me more than I was afraid of the hyena. He was in a bush, he or she was in a bush. I came around and boom, hyena jumped up in the air and then took off.
Oh wow,
Uh,
gosh.
and then the guide started blowing the horn in the Jeep that really scared another time in case the hyena got another idea and was going to backtrack to see me. But I was lucky; it was no problem. I've been in much more dangerous places than doing that. Uh, but it was just that, and I got up to the crater wall right at sunset, one of those just classic African sunsets. It's just
Mm,
mind-boggling.
mm.
So that run that I can never replicate it. It'll never happen again. It just kind of it was in my head to see if I could convince the guy to let me out of the Jeep. And
Best money you probably ever spent, huh?
yeah, yeah, I would have. It was a lot of money, and I would have paid triple or quadruple if I
Oh, that's
had
so
to.
awesome. I
It
love that.
was cool.
That that is amazing. So going back to like you've met thousands of runners from Olympic champions to first-time 5Kers. What quality do you believe the happiest runners have in common?
The happiest runners.
Yeah.
I think they have that. They love the sport. They don't love it because they're good at it. And I'm even talking about Olympic medalists. They love it because they love the sport, the movement, what it does for us, the benefits we get out of it, more than just putting one foot in front of the other. How it helps our health, how it just makes us better people, how we engage with other people that we share the sport with. I think that's how it. There are some elite runners that they just do it because they're really good at it and they really don't like it. And
Mm,
other people, after they're done with their competitive stuff, they just disappear and you never see them again. But there's many, many elite athletes that have won Boston, have won New York, have won Olympic medals, and they're still out there running and having fun. And and I think that, you know, I mean, I know a lot of those people, and it's just they keep it fun and they encourage others. That's the two things we must do to keep our sport growing and to keep people involved in it. You
I
got
love that.
you
I
got
love
to
that.
keep it fun. I keep it fun. I do have people that send me messages and say, "Why do you go out and run? You run so slowly. It's ridiculous compared to what you used to run." I go, "Hey, I have this one picture of Big Sur Marathon taken at the same spot, like 28 years apart. And so the first one I actually won like $1,500 and was up towards the front of the race. The other one I was way in the back. So the picture was taken at the exact same spot at halfway on the Bixby Bridge.
Oh yeah.
And I always tell people, I said, there's proof right there. I am literally running 3 hours slower in that one picture. I had the two pictures side by side. And I said, but you know what? I was having just as much fun as I did in the other picture, which looks like I'm flying down the road and my hair's flying in the wind. And the other picture, I don't have hair, just like I do now. But I always say you do slow down with age and it gets harder, but they can't take the joy out of it. And if you love it, you're going to keep doing it.
I love that.
I use that picture as an example all the time. I say, look at me. Do I look miserable in that picture? Do you want I'm running a lot slower than I used to run? I look pretty damn happy. Uh, but just go from the start line to the finish line. That's what it's all about.
I
I
think
love
it's
it.
hard to be in a bad mood on Bixby's Bridge, the
Oh,
Bixby
That,
Bridge.
that's pretty true. Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty, I mean, just even the whole scenery, because we did Big Sur back in 2017. Just the whole day is just so phenomenal. Like no,
Yeah.
so scenic. I was actually reading your book, what is it? My Life on the
My
Run.
life on the run. Yeah.
Yeah, I finished it this morning on my run. And
Oh,
like I heard you talking about like in the book about Big Sur, and I actually got tears in my eyes. I was like, oh, it's so true. It's so beautiful.
yeah. Yeah, there's something about Big Sur. It's really a pretty race. And they use a quote of mine, which I did say to the newspaper. This was way before the internet was around. But I finished the race, and that guy from the Monterey Times came right up to me and said, "What'd you think of the race?" And I said, "If I was told I could only run one marathon in my lifetime, Big Sur Marathon would be the one I would do."
mm.
And they still use that quote. And that was many, many
It's a
years ago.
great quote.
Yeah.
It's a great quote. Yeah.
And it was so organic. It just came out of, I mean, I literally just crossed the finish line. Guy didn't give me a chance to catch my breath or get a drink of water or anything. And he was waiting for me. The race director said, "There he is, go get him." And he came right at me. "I need a quote. What did you think of this race?" And that came to my mind right away. It wasn't,
I I remember just even the smells at Big Sur. When you start in the redwood forest and
oh, yeah,
just the being outside the forest. It was like I just want to bottle this up and hold this like forever in my memory. And Lori and I even have said again, because we're slower runners.
right.
We're 6 hour marathoners.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
And so but we ran that race and we said the miles went so fast. We didn't run that race like any faster than any other race, but it
Right,
was just being in awe of the landscape and
right.
the ocean. And we actually saw a whale while we
Yeah.
were running. And
It was
you know
incredible.
it was just incredible.
Yeah.
And we said like, my gosh, like I think Lori, we got to like mile 15, 16, and we were like, dude, like this race has gone like so fast. And it was just because there were so many different mental distractions, for
Yeah,
you to go and look at. And we took it all in. We took it all in.
beautiful race. You did it the right way.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now, Bart, you've witnessed running evolve over 40 plus years. I think you said
Yeah,
48 years, right? You've been
49
running,
years.
right?
Yeah.
49, right? So
49.
from paper race applications to carbon plated shoes and now like social media.
Yeah.
So what's one change that you absolutely love about the running community? It could be gear, just anything. And then what's
Yep.
one thing you hope the sport never loses?
Yeah, well, the very first thing, and I physically witnessed it, was the amount of women that entered our sport. In the old days, there were very few women in the sport. And I mean very few. First couple races I did, there were maybe 5% women in the sport. Then it got up to like 10%. And then things just kept happening. The change was there. Joan Benoit Samuelson winning the first ever women's Olympic marathon in '84 was massive
Hmm.
That's
change
so
for women.
cool.
Yeah. But even Joni, like she would before she was famous and really fast, she'd be out running by her house in Maine, and if she saw a car coming, she acted like she was picking flowers because she didn't want the people to know she was running. She was like
Oh,
That's
wow.
embarrassed by it. Like that's the craziest thing in the world. This
that
was
is. It's sad.
an
It's sad that she
Olympic
felt like
gold
she had to do.
medalist champion. But
Yeah.
it was that
Wow.
different for back then. And then, of course, Catherine Switzer, took it to a whole nother level because they tried to take her out of the race. Now, Bobby Gibb did the Boston Marathon in 1966, the year before Catherine. And she ran really fast. She ran like a 3:21 marathon.
Crazy.
Incredible. But she didn't want to be seen or known. She wore like a hoodie
Hmm.
and then she hid till the race started, and then she had to discard some of the warm clothing she had, and then she just ran with guys, and they knew she was out there, but the race officials never knew she was out there. She ran really fast, and then of course Catherine was a year later in '67, the classic photo of trying to take her out of the race. But the amount of women that came in our sport just opened up so many doors, not just for women. All the running stores started growing. I mean,
Hmm.
the whole sport flourished. So that's the thing that I hope just keeps improving and getting better and growing because women did a lot for our sport that guys didn't do.
I love it.
Guys were never, knocking on doors trying to get people to come out and run or encourage people to run. It was too competitive and too like knocking heads all the time. We got to go on a race and spit at each other and beat each other in the ground. The women go out and talk a bitch about their husbands and stuff like that and then go to the coffee shop.
We sound like a
That's what I
gaggle
always
of
hear.
geese.
That's what
We
you
always sound
think
like a
we talk
gaggle of
about.
geese going down the
Yeah, that's what
road.
you think we talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, women always tell me when we're running, we talk about our lazy husband or whatever, something with work or whatever. And then they say, we get to the coffee shop, we talk running nonstop. But during the run is all about getting all the problems in your life and all that kind of stuff.
I
I
love it.
think that is so funny. So that's the one I hope continues to grow and really is the number one change that I feel very lucky that I physically got to see this happen over the last 49 years. And then,
Yeah, I feel like you've been at like the epicenter of like the growth of this sport.
Oh,
yeah,
Like with Runner's World and getting out there and running all these crazy races that you've ran and seeing all of it. I just think it's so cool. You've been such an integral part of all of it too.
thank. What there was a second part to the question. Now I forgot that part.
what's the one thing
Oh,
you hope, what's the one thing you hope the sport never loses?
yeah, I hope the sport never loses just to encourage everybody, and I don't want us to eliminate a demographic because the cost of races have gone up a lot over the years. And I
Yeah.
don't want people not to be able to run a race because they can't afford to run a race.
Yeah.
That that makes me very sad. But I know it goes on because these big marathons are even if you can get in some of the world majors, are some of them are $400, and there's some people in our country that don't have that kind of money,
Yeah.
and they may have young kids and they need to save their money, and I don't want a demographic to be eliminated because they can't afford to be in our sport. So I
Hmm.
hope that's one
That's,
thing we can all work on and maybe just reach out to people that need help and
I love that.
help
I love
someone
that.
enter, right? Get the person a pair of shoes and say, look, I'll pay your entry. You go out and train and we'll shake hands right now. And that's kind of a cool thing. And that may be the way we just keep that, suppress that people can't afford to do races.
I love that.
Yeah, it is hard. I think it's good to be grateful because there are a lot of places where there are smaller, small town races that are
Right,
more
right.
affordable, but
Hmm.
it is a shame because it's so expensive to travel to places like New York City and Boston and stay and then run the race. It's very monetarily, it's a big commitment for
It's
sure,
it,
unfortunately.
yeah, it's a big
But if someone is listening who has enough time and money for a destination marathon, so I'm questioning whether this may be
yeah.
Big Sur or something completely different. In the next 5 years, where would you tell them to go and why?
So a destination race in the next 5 years. I know you guys just did the Rome Marathon. Rome was just one of those, you just feel like you're Italian and you're family with everyone in that race and everyone along the course.
Yeah.
I would encourage people to Rome Marathon. It does take in all the sights you want to see in the city of Rome. And it's the right time of the year in March. Tends to get good weather, and I I I would tell people to think about the Rome Marathon. You don't have to run that fast. They do have they do have a course limit, but it's a pretty reasonable course limit. But you want to see Rome. I it's the best way to see it is
Oh,
to
I
run Rome.
totally agree.
The
100%.
roads are so narrow. Now, some people don't like Rome because there's some cobblestone,
Hmm.
but the cobblestone is so worn down, you don't even know it's cobblestone. I mean,
Well,
there's
and the
been part
scenery is so fantastic around it, even when you're running on the
yeah.
cobblestones, because you're running through like a narrow street and just the architecture, the people who are walking by. It's just there's so many distractions for you. Like I remember running on the cobblestones, but I don't remember it being like a, oh my God, I'm running on cobblestones, like this terrible thing because there were so many distractions around us.
And I always tell people if you want to really get the feel of the Rome Marathon, you can Google a video of the 1960 and 1964 Rome Marathon. And it was the Olympic marathon in Rome was in 60. I'm sorry, yeah, in 60. And a BB Bakilo won it running barefoot. He ran
Oh, jeez.
barefoot not because he wanted to. He ran barefoot because he didn't have any shoes.
Wow.
And he won the gold medal and set an Olympic record.
That's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
And they ran at night, and they had this video is unbelievable. They had these it's like tiki torches. The Roman soldiers were holding them, lighting up the street as the marathon finished in the dark.
Oh,
It's
wow.
unbelievable.
I'm
Oh,
going to have to
that's
check that out.
I know.
That
I
sounds
just wrote. I
really
just wrote that.
cool.
I just wrote that down. I was like,
Yeah,
I want to search
1960, and
that.
then he won again he won the Olympic gold medal in '64 also, and then in '68, an Ethiopian runner by the name of Mama Waldy won the gold medal. So the '60, '64, and '68 were all won by an Ethiopian runner, which was, when you see BB Bakila's outfit in 1960, they didn't even think he would make it across the street. I mean, he was literally in ragged clothing and he didn't have any money, no
Wow.
shoes, and set the Olympic record. It's unbelievable.
Wow, that is incredible. So Bart, I have to ask, after all the races that you have done, and you earlier mentioned, thousands, what gives you goosebumps on race weekend? When you're entering a race, what gets you like,
Yeah,
ooh.
that goosebumps are right at the starting line because one of my quotes that I see all over the place is I always stand by this quote. It's that when the gun goes off, we all follow the same path to the finish line.
Mhm.
Each of us has taken a unique path to the starting line. And that's what our sport is all about.
Yeah.
And that's why I encourage runners to share their story about how they got to the starting line, not so much the finish line. Don't turn into like a braggadocious, oh, I did this and I beat that. And that's not what it's all about. What did you overcome to get to that starting line and become a runner? What motivated you? How did it happen? Those are the things that, so when I get to that starting line, that's to me more important than the finish line.
Mm,
We'll always get to the finish line, or most of the time. I had to drop out of a race. Stuff happens if you get sick,
yeah.
but getting the starting line is the most important thing because then you committed, you're there, you did the training, and it's time to go. And then, like I say, share your path to the starting line. That's what'll help other people.
That's that's so cool. I know I always try and envision like especially with like the really big races that are insane like New York City. Like you think about all those runners and each 50,000 people have a story of
Yeah,
why they're there, how they got there, why they wanted to do it, what motivated them. And it's powerful. It's just such a powerful thing to think about 50,000 people going and running 26.2 miles for completely different reasons and different paths and how they got there. It's just, I don't know. It's like a way of taking like a very random world and bringing it all together into
right.
one space, bringing
Yeah.
it together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bart,
yeah.
Bart, I'll share. And our listeners have heard me, tell this story, but I started running in 2004 after my youngest brother, Ned, passed away from cancer.
Right.
And, I was looking online for like, grief groups, and I saw Team in Training run a marathon, in memory of, your loved one or to support a loved
Yeah.
one. I was in the army and I hated running. Running was always like a
Right.
punishment to me in the past. And so I ran my first marathon in Disney because he loved Disney,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I'm going to be a one and done girl. And then I ran two more in Disney because then I was like, all right, well, I'm very goal oriented. I'm like, how can I raise $27,000 to match like that he died at 27 years old? And then it was, oh, let me run 10 marathons for the 10th anniversary of his passing. Well, that's when Lori and I met in
Right.
2014. We met at a running club and we have been inseparable since. And I think to myself, had I not taken that chance on myself to do something in memory of my brother, I wouldn't necessarily have the life, the friends. I mean, Lori
Right.
and her husband and their kids, they're a second family to us. And so the gift that running has given me in my life, even though it came out of, such a just a terrible time for my family, like I feel blessed, and I feel like my brother is with me on in all of my runs and all of my
Is
experiences,
he
and
is the plus one in your life that
he is my plus
every
one.
step of the
I
way.
love that. I love that. Oh. So yeah, so it is when Lori, when you talk about 50 plus thousand people at the start line in New York City, how many other people have just, stories that they have overcome the odds, to just get to that start line?
Every single one.
Yep.
It's just
Uh,
different. Some of them
Yep.
are more extreme than others, but
Yeah.
every single person has a
Yep.
story,
Yep.
which, you
that
know,
that's the truth.
it's
Yep.
so inspiring.
It
But
is.
but you've inspired countless runners over for decades. Who inspires you today?
Yeah, I'm gonna share. I'm gonna read this letter and then I'll show you how. So after my career at Runner's World, I was asked, what are you gonna do now? And or what message do you want to leave with runners? I've said I want to leave the message to runners how inspiring they are, how they inspired me, and I want them to know how inspiring they are. And they may not even know who they inspire. And I'll give you an example. So this is an email that came to me from a mom who has an autistic son in the autistic spectrum. Very didn't like to talk, didn't communicate, very kept everything in. And one day, the mom asked him like, "What's going on? What's happening in your life? Talk to me." And she had a pen and paper out, and this is what this young man said. He said, "I wish that I knew why I have no friends." This is so sad to hear. I know that part of it is because I don't understand how to be in social situations. But I just want friends my own age. I wish Bart Yasso was my age. So I'm reading this thing. I got up from my chair and closed the door in my office because I knew I could not control myself. And so apparently, I was speaking at a race, and the mom came, and this kid was in the audience. So he said he's a really good person, and I think he would be a good friend. He would be okay with me not knowing how to talk to people and wait a minute, how to talk to people, and he doesn't wouldn't make fun of me for liking video games and being awkward in social situations. He makes me feel that I'm not bad. And then he said to the mom, he said, I wish the other people would want to hang out with me like they hang out with him. I wish that I could be around people and socialize just like he does. I wish I could be Bart Yasso. It was even if it was just for a day. I'm reading this thing totally in tears. And then the kid, he saved me. He had a great ending. He said, I want to be Bart Yasso, but I'm not going to do all that running crap that he does. This kid saved me because I was so, I was putting myself in his shoes. Like he had no friends. He goes to school, nobody likes him, nobody talks to him. Like how hard that must be to just an innocent kid. But
Yeah.
the mom knew I love her to death because she wrote it down and she knew that I should receive this message. And
Wow.
she figured out how to get an email to me and send it off. And so I tell people, like, when I did my talk at whatever race they were at, like, how could I say, oh, the young kid that has in the autistic spectrum, I'm inspiring him. Like, you don't know who you inspire. It could be
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
at work, it could be someone at a church, could be someone, your neighbor, wherever. You just don't know. So I always use this email that was sent to me as proof. I inspired this young man, and I did go run a race with the mom and the young man, and the young kid, we couldn't keep up with him. He would run ahead and then sit on the curb, and then we would come along. He would start running with us, and then he would get bored and run ahead of us and sit on the curb. We'd catch up with him.
Oh,
But we really did have that bond together, the three of us. It was really cool.
oh, that
How
that
can
is
that,
so lovely.
how would you ever know that?
Yeah.
You just don't.
That's
I mean,
phenomenal.
you guys could have happened, it could have happened to you already, and you're never going to know. I mean, it's a little bit easier to find my email at the time. I was working at Runner's World, and it was right on the masthead how to get a hold of me. So she was able to find me right away. But I still, it's hard to read that letter without getting choked up. Just
Oh,
putting yourself in that young man's shoes. I just, but I think last I heard, he's doing very well. So that's a good thing.
oh, good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Bart, it is a testament to the type of person that you are, that you not only received the letter, right, and it hit the heart, but then you committed to like spending time with them, right, and going on a run with them, meeting him, in person, and I think that is inspirational, right? That he touched you, and it's like, hey, how can I, connect this even further than just the letter, that was sent. So I that was such a great story.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
I always, when I did finally meet him, I did ask him, I thanked him for telling me, for closing that letter, as he said, I want, I want to be Bart Yasso, but I want to do all that running crap that he does. That just brought me around. I was so shaken up. And
yeah, I bet.
he
I bet.
actually put a smile on my face for a brief second. And then I
No, Bart,
remember the beginning part of the email, and it was hard to read, but the ending was classic. And it was
and
just so genuine. That's what he said.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, I mean, you have been a running legend for years, but when we look, 20 years in the future, what do you hope that people are still saying about you in the running community?
Oh, wow. 20 years from now, I don't know if I'll be alive in 20 years from now. Hopefully, I'll be in my 90s and hanging on, but who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, that's a tough wish. But I hope that people, I really tried to do a lot of stuff for the sport. And that's why I was inducted into the Hall of Fame and that kind of stuff. It wasn't because I was the fast runner, it was because of what I did for the sport. And that's what I hope people remember. People always say, oh, you should have trademarked this and trademarked that. I said, I didn't get in the sport of running to trademark. That's not my style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like shakeout runs, I was the one that did the first shakeout runs way back in the 90s. And then all of a sudden this internet started and we could invite people to the shakeout runs. And now I look at, get online and like the Boston Marathon has like 45 shakeout runs just on Saturday and another 40 on Sunday. And I think it's so cool. And people always say to me, oh, if you trademark shakeout runs, they would have to pay you for. I'm like, I it never crossed my mind to, and it won't. I hope some of the things that I worked on and are still being around 20 years from now, and still doing it,
I
and,
love that.
and still encouraging others to be part of the sport, no matter what
Absolutely.
spectrum they're on, that they belong in our sport.
I love that. I love that. All right. Well, we are going to hit a lightning round. So
Yeah,
we have for our listeners, we gave Bart a little heads up before we started recording that we have just really quick rapid fire questions. And these
yeah.
are, I actually got this idea the other day when Barack Obama was being interviewed by oh gosh, I can't remember. Oh, it was Jimmy Kimmel. And I think it was Jimmy Kimmel. And it was like rapid. No, it wasn't. No, who was the guy who just retired from or
I don't know, but we
retired?
did it with Alec McChesney when we did
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of the late night guys that just went off the air on CBS, and he did a rapid fire thing with Barack Obama, and I thought it was really cool. All right, so first question, favorite finish line.
Favorite finish line, I'd have to say, is the Boston Marathon.
good. Favorite medal you've ever earned?
I would say the Comrades Marathon.
Mm. What did it look like?
It looked like it's smaller than a penny,
Oh my
and that's what I loved about
God, really?
Yeah, I don't want the pageantry, just something big and, it's just tiny, but it has everything that I wanted on a medal. It's just
Oh,
their logo and a silhouette of a runner, and that is perfect for me.
that's cool. That is really cool. All right, favorite city to run in before sunrise.
Wow, city before sunrise. I actually like the city I live in, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
That's
Just
solid.
Main
Good
Street,
answer.
Bethlehem just got rated the number one main street in America.
I love Bethlehem. We actually
Yeah,
went to the
Bethlehem's
Hotel Bethlehem a couple
Yeah.
of months ago. Yeah.
And Hotel Bethlehem got rated the number one historic hotel in the United States.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Love
Bethlehem's a great town. We're about an
Yeah.
hour south of you.
it
Yeah.
is.
Yep. So, best sunrise you've ever seen while running? Well, I'm gonna guess it's the crater.
Yeah. Well, that was a sunset at the crater.
Oh, that was a sunset. Sorry.
Yeah. I would say the greatest sunrise has to be like at the rim of the Grand Canyon.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Before,
good one. All
yeah,
right.
get there right at sunrise before you start down the trail. It's a
Mm,
pretty cool sunrise.
mm. All right. So when you're on a plane, window seat or aisle seat?
I'm an aisle guy. I got
Okay.
to stretch out my legs. I like that when there's no one walking in the aisle to take my right leg or left leg, get it out in the
Like
aisle.
stretch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My knees always touch the seat in front of me. I'm not built for those planes.
All right. Carry on or checked bag?
Oh, I travel so light you wouldn't believe it. I carry on I mean, I don't think I've checked a bag in years.
Oh.
I was in Italy. I went on a 3 week bike tour in Italy, and the guy met me at the airport, and he
And
says,
you didn't check a bag?
"No." And the guy said, "Where's your luggage?" I said, "It's right here." And he goes, "You're here for 3 weeks." I said, "I got everything I need." I actually did 2 bike rides across the United States by myself, so I was well prepared to, survive with very little, minimal stuff.
I read that earlier about your story going across the country and getting stopped by the police, and I believe was it Montana that you got stopped by the police because
Idaho, because the guy
or was it
was,
Idaho?
yeah, the Ruby Ridge, they were having a battle with the federal agents, and these guys were shooting at them. And the guy said, "Oh, you got to go down. They're going to give me like a 60-mile detour." I said, "No way, buddy. I'm going through here." I said, I looked at that cop. I said, "I'm going to pedal my butt off right now." And he just turned around, and boom, I was gone in no time.
I thought it was funny in the book when the guy was like, "Where are you headed?" And you were like, "New Jersey."
Yeah, Asbury Park, New Jersey, is where I finished. Yeah, he thought I was going to like a pizza shop or something.
Oh, that's so funny. All right, next question. Solo run or group run?
Oh, group run for sure.
Cool.
Although solo run is fun to do, but group run is where it's at.
Yeah.
Morning run or evening run?
I'm a morning runner.
Hmm.
I am.
Yeah.
In the old days, I did 2 a days. The morning run was just like 6 or 7 miles just to loosen up, and then 8 to 10 miles at night. But these days, if I
Wow.
can get in a morning run, the morning run is all I need.
Oh, absolutely. Especially this week. It's going to be like 100 plus degrees
Yeah.
up in our Pennsylvania area.
Yeah.
So definitely got to get in early ones. All right, favorite post-race meal.
Ooh, been a vegetarian since 1988, and I eat vegan food most of the time, but I will eat just veggie stuff. So I would say uh, veggie, like a veggie stir fry would be the
Oh,
best meal for me.
nice.
Yeah, or ramen, and you know, like a good veggie ramen would be right up my alley.
Nice and salty.
Yeah, good point.
Weirdest thing you've ever packed for a race?
Wow, weirdest thing I've ever packed for a race. I have no idea on that one. I don't.
A penguin suit?
Well, the penguin suit. That's a good one because I did actually pack that. I did buy it. I had to buy. Yeah, so that would be. Thank you. That would be one. Sure. I would not have thought of that, but I definitely bought that in the United States and took it. It was definitely packed in my carry-on.
I love it. I
Your
love it.
carry-on.
Oh, just
Yeah.
carry on. All right, if you had to run one marathon every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, it would be Big Sur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I could keep doing those hills might kill me, but the
Yeah.
the beauty would be always there. Because no matter what
Yeah.
the weather is, it's just the weather is weather. You just go out there and do it.
I totally agree. Oh,
Okay, one place in the world you still haven't run, but desperately want to.
Yeah, that's I would say, well, I've run in the Grand Canyon, but I've never done the classic rim to rim to rim. And that's the only one thing in my book that keeps me up at night that I want to do. I was there twice to do the rim to rim to rim, to go from the south rim to the north rim back
Yeah.
to the south rim. And it snowed like crazy and they closed the park.
Oh,
And they were really serious about closing the park. Like you get
yeah.
arrested if you were caught in the park. So I thought, well, I got another day. I'll wait a day. And it snowed again the next day and the park was closed. And then another time I went out and the same thing happened. The trails were closed because of fire.
Oh, it's a bummer.
Yeah. But I've run in the canyon, but just never had the opportunity. I've never been doing the South Rim, North Rim, South Rim, that 46 miles or 48 miles. I got to do that. That's one thing I got to do.
I love it. I love it. What's one word that describes running to you?
One word that describes running, I would just say friendship.
I love that.
Love that.
That's a great answer. And this is the last one. Running has given me blank.
Run has given me everything. It shaped my life in so many ways. It's countless ways. It just literally has given me everything.
I love that.
Well, Bart, we're so grateful that you took time out of your busy schedule to be with us. I mean, it has been an absolute pleasure. Is there any message that you would like to get out there to our Mile 20 listeners? Any closing statements you'd like to make?
Yeah, just keep getting out there and sharing your story. And like I said earlier, not in a braggadocious way, in a very calm, nice way, and encourage others. And keep on inspiring people. We just got to keep this sport growing, and everyone should be allowed to be part of it, no matter what gender, race, whatever. There's nothing that should stop somebody from being part of the running community.
Oh, so well said, Bart. Thank you. This has been an absolute pleasure, absolute like just lifetime conversation with you. I'm just so tickled that like we got a chance to talk to you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I feel the same way. You guys are awesome. Keep up the
Oh,
good work.
thank you. Thank you so
Thank you. And
much.
thank you again for your time, Bart. It has
Oh, no,
truly been a pleasure.
thank you so much.
That was so cool talking to
Uh,
Bart.
I love his storytelling.
It's like a fangirl's dream come true in the running world.
I mean, I do. I remember when I used to get Runner's World magazine before the internet existed, because that's where you found out about new gear or different,
Workouts.
training workouts to do.
Yeah.
And I remember Bart Yasso and his name being all over Runner's World, with various things. And it's just to have included him in our Mile 20 family is just I don't know. I'm kind of speechless.
Yeah. It warms my heart and I'm just still like so giddy over it. It's silly.
I know. I know.
Next week, we will be meeting with Karen Littlewood. She is kind of local to the Pennsylvania area. She is an Iron Woman,
Woohoo!
marathoner, and a CrossFit trainer
Getting
at
it done.
Maggie's gym, just coincidentally, but we have a lot in common with her. And we are so excited to kind of find out about her running journey and see what kind of tips she might have and just connect with her because I think we have a lot in common. I think she's into gardening and her kid's into horseback riding too. So it'll be fun to catch up with Karen next week.
I'm really looking forward to talking to Karen next week.
Yes, it'll be fun. So remember to please subscribe or check us out on our social media. We are at Mile 20 Podcast, wherever whatever, Instagram, Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. You can see our lovely faces. I look a little feral right now because I'm in the woods. We want to thank everybody. I just
You're
can't do
selling it,
makeup
girl.
when I'm
You're
at the
selling
lake.
it.
I sat here and I'm like, I really should put on makeup. And then I'm like, I just can't. I can't. It doesn't work here. I can't. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Go make Mile 20 your bitch.
Peace out.